Hey guys, Heike here, and today's topic may not be top of the mind for you right now, which is intermittent fasting. But when you think about all the pictures that we currently see on social media with grocery carts filled to the brim with, yes, a lot of toilet paper, but also dried goods or canned goods, or grocery aisles that are completely wiped empty of any foods. Intermittent fasting can make a difference. It reduces stress by reducing decision fatigue. That means if you're eating fewer meals, you have to worry less about where the next meal is coming from. And that's just one of the benefits of intermittent fasting. So dive in with me during this tough time and learn more about the benefits of intermittent fasting and what it can do not only for your body, but for your mind. I'll see you in this episode. Hi there, you're listening to the Pursue Your Spark podcast. I'm your host and midlife warrior, Heike Yates. And on this show, we're talking about fitness, nutrition, and mindset strategies for women in midlife. Plus, our fierce guests on the show share their stories to help you reclaim your power to spark an authentic life. Well, hey there, it's Heike, and welcome to another episode of the Pursue Your Spark podcast. Thank you so much for being here. I love having you on the show, and I just picture you right in front of me as I'm recording this podcast because I know today's topic is affecting all of us. Midlife is the time where it's tough to stay in shape and lose weight. I know you can relate because you've told me about it. And I shared some strategies with you in the past, but I want to go back to that topic and help you out with some tips and strategies of how we can stop and slow down this weight gain. One thing is for sure, our metabolism is slow and almost feels like it's come to a standstill. That's not helping. On top of that, we're starting to get those age-related joints like the knee pain, the lower back is a little tight, and that doesn't encourage us to exercise as hard as we have in the past. Or if you're not an exerciser and you just want to start out in the midlife, you may think, ooh, my knees are hurting. Maybe I shouldn't do all this exercise stuff. But may as it be, as we all look in the mirror, we wonder what happened to those muscles that we had built over all those years, putting all this hard work in and wondering, what now? Midlife is the time where we go through perimenopause and then, of course, menopause. Our estrogen levels drop and the body fat just seems to love our hips, the thighs, the booty, and of course, the belly. But it is super important that we're losing that belly fat because losing belly fat can dramatically reduce the risk of heart attacks, diabetes, and cancer. So you may have tried other things to boost your metabolism, to boost your energy, because with all that slow metabolism, with the extra weight and the extra belly fat, we don't feel super energetic or even vibrant like we once had. We want to feel as strong as before menopause. So I tested out intermittent fasting. And I want to share the 5 intermittent fasting benefits for women in midlife with you that have made a huge difference in the way I look and the way I feel. So it's about 2 years ago where I was struggling with the issues that I mentioned, with all of the belly fat, with not having energy, with the menopause and all that good stuff. And I came across intermittent fasting, and I decided that I'm going to give it a shot. I mean, after all, I've been in the fitness industry for 30 years. I should know better. I should know how this works and how to get a handle on this. But women are not like men. We're different. We have a different metabolism. We have different preferences. We have different bodies, and we eat different than men. You can find a lot of stuff about how guys get in shape and how they all have a six-pack even when they get older. Okay, maybe not a six-pack, but they all look lean, and we seem to get rounder. So I decided to give intermittent fasting a try. And for 60 days, I fasted, I logged, I charted everything, and within 60 days, I lost 9 pounds. I didn't measure my body fat, but I can tell you girls, my jeans were a lot looser than they have been in a long time. Was it easy? Yes and no. I will put a link in the show notes for you to go back and read the post with the graphics and all the details of how I got leaner and lost the belly fat through intermittent fasting. You may have heard of intermittent fasting, and you say, well, how does that work? That intermittent fasting, all I hear is that we don't eat, and then we eat. It's easy, but it's not. One of the things that I heard first time I offered my 4-week lean out program was somebody saying, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to starve myself. Intermittent fasting is not about starving yourself. You only eat during certain times of the day and then not others. But what makes the difference is what you eat, what you're putting in your body, and what types of exercises you combine this with. But my focus is today on the benefits of the fast, and we'll address the exercise portion at a different time. But no, you're not starving because you get plenty of food to eat, plenty of nutrients, because I want you to pick from organic and the least processed foods that you can get. And if you've been focusing a little bit on your diet and you've been focusing on a little bit of healthy eating, you have most of the foods already in your house, or if not most of them, the few that we're adding to it will make the difference, and they are also affordable. It doesn't have to be expensive to intermittent fast. Now, how do you fast? How do you start? Overall, I would say pick a schedule that works for you. But that would be too vague, and you go, oh, well, what does that mean? So I'm giving you some examples of how you get started if you never fasted before. And the first one is called the simple fast. This is a fast where you're not eating or fasting for 12 hours. For instance, you're not eating between breakfast and dinner, and you only drink water and herbal teas, a little coffee, not too big on the coffee, but you hydrate a lot. You eat only 3 meals and no snacks on this simple fasting lifestyle. So you eat 3 meals, but you're fasting for 12. So for example, you finish dinner at 7 p.m. and then don't eat again till 7 a.m. And then you have 3 meals from 7 a.m. that you can spread out until dinner time. So you still have 3 meals. For a beginner faster, and for many women, this approach of the 12-hour fast is pretty easy to stick with for most of the time because you sleep most of that time. So it's not that difficult. I would highly recommend that you're starting with the simple fast. The second one is what's now called the brunch fast. It used to be called time restricted eating, but as names go, everybody renames their programs. So now it is called the brunch fast. And what does that mean? You fast now for 14 hours between dinner and breakfast, and you eat breakfast just a little bit later than you normally would. So in this example, we finish dinner at 7 p.m. and then don't eat again until 9 a.m. So we added just 2 hours to it. So not a big difference. And you follow the same principles as with a simple fast. You're drinking lots of liquids. That does not include wine, that does not include beer, and that ideally does not include a lot of caffeinated drinks, which are not good for your gut. So in a fast, don't drink so much, or don't drink coffee. Definitely not sodas. Diet sodas or any kind of soda is a no-no. Then we have the cycle fast. And that looks like this. 3 times a week, you fast between 14 and 16 hours by skipping a breakfast or a dinner, depending on your lifestyle. So example here again, you finish dinner around 7 p.m. and then you eat again between 9 and 12 the next day. You repeat that again on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. On Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday, you do what you normally do, what you've done before. I don't know what you do, but you may not fast on those days, and he eats 3 square meals a day. That's called the cycle fast. Now, we have the strong fast, or also called the 16-hour fast. And here, what you do is you eat 2 meals per day, and you fast either through breakfast or dinner. And you eat all of the food in a 6 to 8 hour feasting, what we call feasting window, so where you eat. An example would be fast in the morning, eating between 12 noon and 7 p.m. each day, or perhaps between 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. each day, or wherever your 6 to 8 hours work best for you, depending on your lifestyle. You may have to sit down and really think about it, but your window is where you eat are 6 to 8 hours. This fast works really well with men, and I get into this in a little bit. Finally, the 5-2 schedule. What does that mean? Fasting may not be for you for every day. So here's what you could do. You fast for 5 days, and then you don't for 2. So Monday through Friday, you can go through the simple or the brunch fast, and then Saturday and Sunday, you take off from fasting and do whatever it is you normally do or would like to do, and then go back on Monday. But you also could do this for any 2 days during the week, as long as you're thinking, okay, I'm fasting 5 days and 2 days I take a break. Could work with any cycle in your life. In the 4-week lean out program, I teach you most of those fasting strategies, plus the mindset needed to go through the program and make intermittent fasting successful. Help you with exercise strategies and habit building methods that you can take away for after the course and own your intermittent fasting, and you know what you're doing, when you're doing it, and how you do it. Recent research has shown that women do best burning fat by fasting for 14 to 15 hours and eat 9 to 10 hours. So keep that in mind when you're choosing your fasting cycle. There are many benefits of intermittent fasting, and you may not experience all the benefits the first time around. You know, fasting is like exercise. You're not going gangbusters right out the gate and be successful, because if you go gangbusters, you most likely will crash. So we need to start small and take baby steps and learn what works for our body and how our bodies responds. Because every body is so different. What works for one doesn't work for the other person. That's why we have all these different choices in our fasting style. But as time goes on, you get better at fasting. You know what works for you, and you will enjoy the benefits so much more. So stick with it, because generally it takes about 1 to 2 weeks of intermittent fasting before your body responds. It also will take time for your hunger to reduce and that you adapt to a new eating schedule. If you're coming from a grazer to a faster, it takes time to change the mindset, change the strategies, and change how you approach eating. So sticking with a smaller fasting window at first is the way to go, and don't stress over it. Here are the 5 intermittent fasting benefits for women in midlife. Number 1 is intermittent fasting simplifies your meals. You have fewer meals to worry about, and you choose your meals from mostly organic and unprocessed foods. That is the goal. You eat 2 to 3 meals a day, and you have much less to worry about where your next meal is coming from because you pre-plan your meals. This leads, number 1, to much healthier food choices, and that leaves you not to look for something or, oh my God, what can I eat? What is there to eat? When it comes to your feeding times, you know exactly what you're going to get. Intermittent fasting is not another diet, but a sustainable lifestyle. There are no special foods to buy, or there are no foods that are off limits, or shakes to make that become your meal. So it is straightforward, and a balanced meal focuses primarily on vegetables, which can be frozen or fresh, some fruits, fresh or again frozen. Then we have the whole grains, then that includes quinoa, brown rice, oats, and barley. And then our lean protein sources are things like chicken, fish, beans, lentil, tofu, nuts, seeds, cottage cheese, and eggs. So there's plenty of protein to go around. And then, of course, my favorite family is the healthy fats that come from the fatty fish like salmon or cod, olives or olive oil, coconuts or coconut oil, avocados, nuts, and of course, seeds. So you're simplifying your meal through meal planning, and I show you plenty of strategies how you can pre-plan your meals without your head exploding or you're not sure what to do next. So number 2, intermittent fasting boosts fat burning. That's number 2. Fasting creates the ideal environment for fat burning as your insulin levels stabilize and the body uses fat as fuel and it produces ketones. And this is the perfect environment that will boost your fat burning and helps you lose that or assists you in losing the belly fat or overall body fat as well. Number 3, intermittent fasting improves energy levels. Now, stick with me because this gets a little bit technical here, but intermittent fasting can increase your energy. For example, if you eat several times per day, your metabolism goes in cycles of breaking down carbohydrates, turning them into blood sugar. This sugar will be used for energy and stored in the cells for later. So what's happening next? After the blood sugar is either used or stored in the body, which we don't want, the blood levels drop. That means your energy levels drop as well. And hint, this is where the sugar cravings come from, guys. Nothing else. So not that you become a sugar addict, but if you fast, then your body uses fat for energy because fat is digested slowly and must be processed by the liver into ketones before it can be used for energy. Because of this process, there are no up and downs in your insulin levels. Therefore, when the body uses ketones for fuel, it increases norepinephrine in response to the fast. you notice more natural energy. So no sugar crushes or any of those things. Number 4, intermittent fasting supports clarity. Many of us eat mindlessly and struggle with food and sugar cravings. Now you know why you have sugar cravings. But fasting helps us to realize that these cravings are sometimes mental and or emotional nature and totally manageable. Fasting has also been used through history as we elevate our consciousness in many religions. Additionally, fasting can help us out by tuning out emotional urges and tune into our intuition, which helps us not only make better food choices, but better decisions in life. And I will put a link in the show notes for the blog post that I did on mindful eating strategies. Number 5, intermittent fasting stimulates cellular autophagy and reduces inflammation. What is autophagy? Autophagy is the body's way of cleaning out damaged cells in order to regenerate newer, healthier cells. And this is according to, I hope I pronounced this right, Priya Khurana, PhD in the nutrition education from Columbia University. Autophagy is part of the natural immune system, where the body breaks down old, damaged parts of cells and abnormal developing cells to recycle them to energy. It then uses these raw materials to build new and healthier cells or to repair damaged organelles within the cells. So what does that mean? In essence, the body's way of cleaning house. By incorporating intermittent fasting into your life, your midlife can feel energized, strong, and lean. Join us for the next start of the 4-week Lean Out program. I put a link in the show note, and enjoy the benefits of intermittent fasting in midlife with the group with us. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode and found it super helpful. Please reach out to me at Heike Yates on Instagram or Pursue Your Spark podcast and let me know what you need help with. If you had any questions about intermittent fasting, I'd be more than happy to help you out with more information on that. And next time on the Pursue Your Spark podcast, you will have my friend Lisa King back for her second interview here on the podcast. And we're talking about how to ditch bladder pain naturally. So don't miss out on our next interview with Lisa. And please, if you haven't already, go to the Apple Podcast and write a review. It would be super awesome if you did that. And I will see you next time on the Pursue Your Spark podcast. Ciao.